Hey everyone, Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business. Today we're going to be talking about getting started on blockchain platforms, and more specifically, blockchain social media platforms or crypto monetized platforms. I'll be using those pretty interchangeably, but they slightly differ in the fact that blockchain social platforms means it's actually on a blockchain, and crypto monetized could just mean that they give out rewards in the form of crypto, but they might not actually utilize the blockchain. So the reason that I'm making this video is because I want to focus on people who are getting started, or people who are considering starting, or people who have just started. So the entry level, beginner people in blockchain social spaces. And I want to just sort of cover, getting started, a few platform recommendations, some things to be aware of, tips and tricks, all that good stuff, for all the things that people have asked me questions on and all that, for the best ways to get started and what you should keep in mind and be aware of. I'll also be making a video that's slightly for more advanced users, where I'll be covering maximizing your profit and potential on these platforms, and that will be the video that I'll do next. So for this one, we're just going to be doing the beginner stuff. And to start off, I think the most important thing to be aware of is whether or not the platform actually lets you access your funds. So the reason that this is so important is because there's many platforms, and I've reviewed over 130 so far. I'll be putting out a comprehensive review of everything for you guys to see very soon. I've been slacking on this one a little bit, but it's hard to time the release because I want to give every platform the best opportunity to show themselves in the best light for me to review and let everything sort of catch up. And I think I'm going to do it very soon though. Anyways, the first thing that you should be aware of is if you can access your funds. That is the most important indicator or test you can make on any platform to know whether or not you should bother with it. And it is whether or not you can get your funds out of the platform. There's many platforms that have tons of restrictions. There's platforms that won't let you withdraw at all. There's lots of platforms that have issues like this, and I think they're best to avoid, because you should not be using a platform on the promise that maybe you'll get your money eventually. Only use platforms that already give you the option to, and there's no red tape over it, right? I think that's a very easy, beginning red flag to look out for. And I've done a video previously on red flags, which you can go and check out. I'll link that in the description. It's very helpful for evaluating new platforms. But again, you can also always refer to my upcoming review, or you can look at my previous review, which is about 6 months old, so it's a little dated. Anyways, though, the next thing that you want to look at is, does the platform use the blockchain? Now, this isn't so important for everyone. For some people, it doesn't matter at all. For some people, they want the platform to actually use the blockchain. So this is why before I mentioned blockchain social versus crypto monetized. A great example of this is PublishOX uses crypto, and it's crypto monetized. You'll get rewards, you'll get paid, it's great, but they're not actually hosting any of the content on the blockchain like you'd see on Hive, Steam, or Library, for example. So there is a spectrum as to how much you're actually using the blockchain. Some people prefer the more decentralized full blockchain route, which does tend to have a little bit of a it suffers a bit on performance, or it has that drawback, but it's much more decentralized by doing this, and it's more distributed as well typically. So it's a lot more secure, and there's some people who want to actually fully take advantage of the blockchain and fully use that technology, versus people who think that platforms that aren't actually using it are more legacy platforms, and they're not really in support of that. But to each their own, right? It's whatever works best for you. And I'm using a mix of legacy platforms totally, ones that are half and half, and the ones that are fully blockchain. So a healthy mix doesn't hurt either. The next thing is decentralized versus centralized. So you could still have a platform that uses the blockchain, but it's very centralized, versus a platform that is decentralized. So it's not as obvious when you're evaluating a platform. If this is the case, this is more of a judgment call based on a lot of the things that you see on the platform itself. So for example, on PublishOX, creators have to be approved. Now that is a very centralized process. When you have it so that one entity or a very small group of entities is controlling the majority of actions or putting up barriers, that is more centralized. That's not necessarily a problem for what PublishOX is trying to do, but it creates the potential for problems because they have, moderators and everything. And if they were to become biased, then the whole platform would look more like Twitter or Facebook. And that's what people are trying to get away from with a lot of these platforms. So the reason that this is important is because people are trying to look for new solutions to solve the old issues, and new platforms that still have those inherent problems potentially could be problematic for some people. But some people might just be looking for a better way to monetize, which PublishOX does achieve. So again, it comes down to what you're looking for. Library, if you're posting on the application, is very, very decentralized. But if you're accessing it through the web browser, it's a little more centralized. It really just comes down to what do you value. People tend to value decentralization more for privacy and free speech, and centralization more for performance and support from staff and stuff like that to solve issues for you. So it really just comes down to what you value, right? So that's something to consider. That's a big nuance for these platforms. Another big nuance is staking. So staking for a lot of the platforms that offer it allows you to sort of lock in some of the cryptocurrency that you've earned or that you've bought, and it'll give you different benefits for having done so. For example, on Hive or Steam, if you lock in or power up your crypto on those platforms, it locks it into the platform, and it takes 13 weeks to get it all out. It'll give you 1/13 of whatever you're trying to get out every week. So it'll take 13 weeks. And essentially what you could do is you could delegate that. So delegation means you're using that powered up influence, and you could lend it to someone else for money, or you could upvote other people and earn from curation. It also increases the value of your upvote, because on a lot of these platforms that have staking, it's based on how much stake you have is how much power and influence you have. Whereas, there's other versions of staking where you look at Library, for example, and when you do a support on Library, you're sort of staking your coins into a specific video or post or channel to boost it and get more visibility. But that stake or support is, you can revoke that immediately and get it back, and there's no problems there. So staking varies from platform to platform, but it is a huge component for most blockchain social platforms in terms of your influence or your visibility, or there's a lot of different benefits and nuances to staking, but it is a concept that is important to understand going forward so that you have an idea of what's going on with a lot of these platforms. And then the last one is just like general nuances of platforms. I think we covered a lot of them, but there's always little different caveats for each platform that you sort of got to learn. So for example, on Library, you have to spend a little bit of Library for every post that you make or when you create your channel, because you're using a small amount to submit that content to the blockchain, and that's hosted on the blockchain. The interesting nuance with Library is, if someone else is using the same URL name as you, you're both now competing for that name, and whoever deposits more will be shown in the search for that as the top claim. So they have a very interesting nuance where it's like you have competition for your SEO, and it's kind of gamified, and it's a competition, and you can stake more to get better visibility, and you'll leave it there basically indefinitely as long as you want that visibility, but at any point you could take it back, and again, there's no issues, and it's basically instantaneous. So there's no issues there. But again, if you have issues with getting the currency or something, then it's going to be a little harder for you, or if you don't have money to afford much. The good thing of it is that they allow you to earn it on the platform even as a viewer. Every day you can earn from watching, and you have tiers for earning for the amount of views that you've watched, as well as reposting. So there's a lot of incentivization for people to get involved and get engaged and earn for doing so. So I think that's great. Like, you'll earn about $3 just for reposting some people. So, that's really, really cool too. But there's a lot of different nuances for each platform, and you kind of learn them as you go. And they all differ a little bit, but a lot of the base concepts are I've explained today. And essentially, for most platforms, you want to look for platforms where you're earning platform rewards, where the platform itself is paying out to you, because this way you don't have to rely on donations from other people. It's more about the engagement you get from the people on the platform for how good your content is. So with that being said, this is my getting started on blockchain video. If there's something that you think I didn't include, or I missed, or that you would have liked to have seen, please let me know. And if I get enough comments, asking for more things that I cover in an introductory sense, I will come back and I'll do a second getting started video to cover all those. So make sure to let me know, and I will make sure to cover all those as well. And then the next video will be covering how to maximize your profit and potential on these platforms in general, but with a few examples as I've given in this video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching this video to the very end. Since you did, make sure to give it a like and comment hashtag #1ham in the comments below, so that way I know that you watched the whole video. Also, please subscribe to this channel, and feel free to follow me anywhere under @ScottCBusiness. I'm basically on every platform. You can also share this with someone else who might gain value from it, and that would be very helpful and impactful to helping my channel grow as well. If you'd like to support me more directly, you can also donate to scottcbusiness.eth or scottcbusiness.crypto listed below. Thank you so much for your support and for watching this video. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.